Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Stonehearth. We are back in Greywick today trying to finish up the final production building that is going to be featured in our wonderful village so far. We have plenty of cool structures already built and really everything is just coming together so well here in Alpha 17 that the next building is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more reminiscent of the docks here, and the fact that we need to build an actual mine. Now, there's no mining profession, unlike, say, timber and stone, but there is the, what is it? The potter. So the potter, in my mind, will, I guess, take the place and work around the mine. Maybe if we make it look a little bit more like a quarry and a spot where he's getting a bunch of clay, it might look pretty cool and add a few little cranes and things like that. But first things first, what we need to do is get rid of this door and these two braziers. What I want to end up doing is carving a little bit out of this little cliffside here and make kind of this tiered system, and then throw in an actual like wooden kind of mine entrance, something that you would see normally, and then put some, I guess, light industrial stuff back here. So it's gonna basically balance out the industrial area down here and make one up here and kind of near the farmland, a little bit away from town, and I might add a few little shacks up here as well for housing. So we are going to first mine out a bunch of little chunks here. And so we're mining out chunks like so. And I'm just going to use this mine block tool here to get everything kind of started. And this here, this shape, this initial shape is going to be kind of the lowest area. So it's actually going to go all the way down to the grass. In fact, we're actually going to take a layer of the grass off to expose some of that wonderful light brown dirt that we have, and just make it a little messy. It's fine. You can always go back in and fill in some sections just so it's smooth, but we might use the kind of wood as kind of an equalizer, just so we have some darker spots and some lighter spots. And plus, we're going to get a whole bunch of clay from this, which will be a great thing for our new potter. Mr. T ended up dying while gathering a bunch of resources for the little herbalist garden that we have over here, the structure that we built last episode. So all of our citizens are off kind of gathering these materials from these monsters that we've been killing, and so they should start on this here soon, I hope. And we of course need a ladder up here just so we can get up to this section to keep on working on it. In fact, I might even build one a little farther out, because this is going to expand just a little bit more in this direction. There we go. So they're going to go ahead and dig away, and in the meantime, I guess we can either plan out structures and just save the blueprint and plop them down as needed. I figured that would be a good way to use our time here. And so let's start with, I guess, a little crane. Now, the problem being that we don't really know if these will be buildable fully. And of course, there's invaders coming over here. So I had to make sure they are going to be attacking the right thing, which should be the warriors. The warriors are a major threat to our infantry here, as they do have cleave, and they're fairly strong for sure. Now, normally people would focus the cleric, as I've said before, but I feel like our army is big enough to where the clerics kind of can't heal through all of our DPS, especially when we get both of our two-handed wielding kind of footmen up here. Everyone in our army is max level, and I do want to get maybe a couple more archers. They are the highest DPS class. So let's start switching our archers over to the clerics. Get them moving so they can't heal the tank as quickly, and we should be good to go from that point. To look around a little bit, make sure there's nothing else coming over towards us. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so those guys will be fine. Let's go ahead and keep working here. So we need little lifts, which are going to function as our, I guess not lifts. Well, not lifts in the sense of an elevator. It's more like a pulley kind of system here. So we will make this tower structure, and we'll probably use that ladder trick to kind of just fill in this center with some extra scaffolding here. Make some cross members. And I guess at this point we can just do something like this. It definitely looks a little weird. You know, I'm gonna have to rethink the top portion. Let's go. Yeah, that's, I think, a little bit better. That's a little far out, just because you have to make sure the structure is a little balanced, so it looks like it can function, and it's weighted correctly. So let's add some supporting kind of struts on this. The nice thing is that we'll be able to pretty much copy and paste this anywhere we want, as the structure's not very big at all, which is nice. Yeah, that ain't bad. I'm so used to the Planet Coaster kind of camera here that I'm having trouble controlling this thing, which is a little annoying. Ah, good. They're working on the upper section now. Oh, nope. Don't make a plane. That's not what I want. I want something that looks like a rope here. It's so tough because we can't actually tilt the camera upwards. We can really only go down. And then here we will make our little lift area out of wood. Something happened here that I need to fix. Don't know what that was. So that is kind of a base crane there. It's not that bad, I don't think. We're gonna even add like a chunk of stone here to kind of represent the top of the pulley, and even drag out the rope like that. Actually, maybe we can run the rope that everyone will be grabbing onto just down the center of the structure a little. Put a little kind of stone weight, I guess, as a little counterbalance. Okay. That ain't bad. We'll get rid of that. And replace these blocks with stone as well. Okay. That ain't bad for just a little kind of small lift, because it's a quarry, and so we're going to have these tiers. And on top of these tiers, we're going to need these things to kind of lift kind of stone around and move it from place to place. In fact, let's go ahead and just round out the base here. Because we have room. We can make it just look a little bit wider. And in fact, we'll even put a little connection here at the back. In fact, I'm gonna change the shape of this just a hair. There we go. Just to make it look a little beefier. Like it can actually counterweight all the stone on the front end. Okay, so that ain't bad. These guys are done here. So what I need to do is actually mine out this section like so. And I'm leaving this one block here just as a path. Just to make sure they can get in everywhere that they need to. And we're taking this first section all the way down to the ground floor, essentially. And you can see the road is even going to kind of decay as we get closer and farther away from the main section. Now I'm trying to figure out where we end up wanting the castle and barracks section. I kind of want to have housing encompassing this area. Maybe put the barracks back here, and then the castle kind of at the end of the main street here, going from city square to city square, just in a straight line. I think that'll suffice just fine. In fact, it's going to be a little reminiscent of Lothlorien, or yeah, I think it was Lothlorien. Was that for season 1 Timber and Stone? I forget the name of that place. I know we used Lothlorien's castle, but I don't remember the name of the actual town that we called it. Huh. Oh well, it's not too important. So where's all of our diggers at? Looks like we have some wolves at our heels back here. There we go. So they'll be taken out. Do a quick kind of perimeter check. Make sure there's nothing too bad. Now, the game is jittery. I am still getting 30 FPS. The problem is the fact that, you know, the game is still in alpha, so it doesn't run the best. Let's see, make me 7 steel and 8 fine comfy bed. No, that's a really bad deal. No deal for you. Alright, so we have 1 crane. And the question is, do I just want to go ahead and make another variant? I think 1 more variant will be good. Now, we're going to spawn these cranes in because the crane down by the docks gave us a lot of trouble. And I just want to be sure that this one will nat. Alright, so this one's going to be a little bit more solid. Just a solid chunk of stone here. Wood on top. And we'll just go with a little bit more of a standard crane design. Don't forget your counterweights on the back. Don't want it to be falling over now, do we? You know, we may have to widen this by 1, but then again, I do like the more narrow profile on this. So let's make the top a little bit of a different color. Like that. And same colored rope. Now the problem is because it's too wide, the rope's going to be off center, which might bug some of you. It bugs me a little bit, but sometimes there's really nothing you can do about that kind of stuff when you're dealing with either pixel art or this kind of building style like Minecraft. Okay, fact, this one we might just extend the rope down, so we might even leave that blank. In fact, I kind of want to do that on this one as well, just so we have the option to change how high it is pulled. I think that's a good thing to keep in mind, just so you have some variation between the two. And here we can just do something like this for our base. Something a little bit more interesting. And we'll line the walls with this with ladders as well once it's kind of spawned in. That off-center kind of rope though really bugs me, but from far away I don't think it's going to be too noticeable. So those are our two little buildings. That's actually, let's put some light stone in here, almost like a gear or some type of mechanism that's exposed at the top. Okay, not bad. That will suffice. Gonna go ahead and save in case anything happens, because you know, you never know. You could get a heavy attack and then followed by, you know, our town dying randomly. So let's check on another patrol. We do keep the game running while working on this, so things do spawn from time to time. Alright, good. So they've been working really well on this back area here. We can already tell them to pretty much bring down these walls fully. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll worry about cutting off another section up there, just so our cranes and things have a spot to sit on. And it would be nice to have the cranes up here and then maybe some type of chute that the stone goes down. That might be cool to do. But we can't really do that or design that until this is all dug out. So I might go ahead and skip here for this thing to be all dug out, and then we can go ahead and design some more buildings and get that going so you guys can see pretty much, you know, everything being built a little bit quicker than its current pace. And thus, through the power of YouTube and editing, we are now caught up to all the stuff that we did off camera. This is about the size of the quarry, and yeah, I'm generally liking the base shape. It's kind of just a nice little cut out from the hill, and the mine building will go here, kind of off center, because we need some room for our platforms on our little kind of cranes here. So I did add this gong to the side of this crane. Now the reason doing so is the fact that I think it kind of balances out the off center on one side, and then we can kind of tie it down over here, and then it's kind of the only sphere, well, not sphere, but disc shaped object that we kind of have in the game. And so I'm using it as almost like the main pulley system that drives this crane. So that looks pretty cool. Here is our previous crane, and I went ahead and built this small little thing, which is basically like a small container. So we're going to name that Quarry Storage. And I asked, how do you spell quarry? There we go, double R. Man, there we go. So Quarry Storage. And that is that template right there. So all of our new templates should be in here now. We have the two cranes and the quarry storage, which we can pretty much drop anywhere that we want. I might drop this Oh, I'm thinking about right here, kind of directly beside our structure here. I also put up some retaining walls on the lower level, as it doesn't really make sense to have the whole thing dirt like this. It's kind of too exposed and would be a little on the weak side, and so they put up these retaining walls. Let's go ahead and connect these two with a building. So this is going to be the main structure here for our wonderful, I guess, quarry house of some kind. So that's the floor. We will use kind of stone walls here. Column material though will be, oh, let's keep it stone, I think. So we will do this and this. But keep the walls wooden, at least on the outside here. Like so. And the roof, obviously we can't generate one because it doesn't have 4 walls, so we're gonna have to kind of manually build up our roof here. I don't think that's the right color. Let's go with this brown. Nope, still too dark. It's always a little hard to kind of match the colors that the base game uses. So yeah, we'll just create a peak here, and we will, oh, what kind of roof do we want? Do we want a slate roof, or keep it wooden? You know, I'm thinking we're gonna keep it wooden. We're gonna go with a lighter color. And I'm gonna stop here because I'm gonna make a little area where they can hopefully pass through to the other side. And in fact, we need to carve this out relatively early. Something like that. Though we might have to make it one wider, just so we can give it a proper peak. Okay. That ain't bad. They can fit through a hole like that, so let's go ahead and delete here and here. And do the same thing on this side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Need this to go across. And there we go. So that's the little section they can walk through to get to the left and right side here. Then now we just need to carry on with the roof. The nice thing about using kind of these patterned blocks is the fact that it kind of does the alternating colors for us, so we don't actually have to go back in and mess with that at all. It can be a real time saver for sure. Now the funny thing is this peak is actually higher. Nope, it's not higher than the main one. It actually matches, so that will be nice and solid through there. So we'll do this and this. Nope, nope, don't want to do that. And that will end up kind of being the mine entrance. Kind of looks like a home, but hopefully when we decorate it and add some pieces to it, it'll look a little less so. Oh no, the door's off center. That's gonna bug me a whole lot. Might have to use Yeah, we'll put an iron door on that. I think that'll look rather nice. And then, just to give the front a little more detail, we will go ahead and throw up just a little bit of a color break from the normal walls here. Something like that. That ain't bad. And you know, we might do that here. Now we can't actually put a door here just because of how this is laid out. It's not actually wide enough to put a proper door, but we can put some additional support columns. Because why not? And get rid of that block. And now we just have to, I guess we can flatten out the roof here. But that wouldn't really make sense. I guess we just have to continue the pattern across. It's kind of our only way through at this point. So we'll just continue this. Doesn't make sense if there's any, rain, how it really runs off the roof, but it's not that bad. We can definitely manage with what we have. I mean, it's not like any water or anything's going to get trapped. It actually looks like it might end up running off anyways, if it did rain. But there's really nothing like that in the game just yet. Now, we need to get a walkway across the top there. So let's go ahead and do that. Come on, camera, rotate. There we go. This is really hard to do. In Stonehearth. It's actually still probably one of my biggest gripes. The Timber and Stone has a much better camera system. The fact that you're definitely more free to kind of do what you want a little bit more. And zoom in areas. Okay. So we'll just extend this down like that. Now, of course, the entrance into our original mine here is going to be just a little off center, but again, that's not a big deal. We're not going to be looking inside these structures a whole lot. Might help if I actually the blocks where they're supposed to be. There we go. Okay, so we have our little pathway there across, and these walls are connected, and I need to add some stone here just to seal that off. Great. So, no point saving this building. It's a very specific building to this shape. And so to recreate it would be a real hassle. But what I do want to do is just instant build it. I really want to try and get through a little bit more planning out with you guys rather than skipping here. So I'm just going to spawn it in using the console. We have enough materials. I'm not really worried about the thing not being able to be constructed. This is just kind of the finishing touches up here. So let's go ahead and drop in these other things. So crane 2, we will build it. Which I can put right here. That is backwards. Let's try this again because crane 2 needs to be facing the other way. Oh yeah, that's gonna look nice. kind of right there. It's going to give us some nice verticality in the build. So we will finish editing. Make sure it's clicked on. Open the console with Control C and get that in there. So that is one crane. So crane 1 though, this one will be let's try and find a cool spot for that. Now the cool thing about crane 1 is that I did add these little flags here, which I think is a nice little touch. So finish building, editing, console, and spawn in. I'm gonna need one more crane, I think. And it will be crane 1 again. Thinking, can I put it over here, just out of the way, like that? Spawn that in. There we go. I know it's not very survival series like to just spawn in structures like this, but you know, I think we're at the point that surviving is not really an issue, though I did lose 2 people here, but we basically get them back again instantly. They're just workers. I mean, sacrificing workers for me is just not really worth showing. So that is that little section. Let's actually spawn in our quarry storage here, which will go nice and neat, I think, right here, right beneath this crane. Let's see. That actually matches the terrain really well. And we will instant build that. Oh yeah, that's looking really good. It's starting to look kind of more industrial, more kind of what we are desiring here. And then kind of as a quick finished touch, we will design. Actually, not design, because we don't need to design it. What we need to do, I went ahead and stockpiled a few of these stone piles here. Stockpiled stone piles. Oh. Okay, the redundancy in my language is real. Let's put these around a little bit. Here and there. And then this will look like a pretty proper location. And we'll also get some ladders built. Definitely need some ladders to get up to different upper areas. And we can use the cranes as kind of these focal points for that. And we can actually get rid of that ladder, and we can get rid of this ladder. Perfect. So any monsters that's going to spawn in the upper areas are actually going to come down through the quarry at us, which I'm fine with. That is definitely what it's for. Okay, so we have that. I need to, I guess, build. I mean, I kind of wanted this section to be barren anyways. I guess I can fence it off with a low wall. I'm going to save real quick though, just in case anything. Here, you can actually see what it was before, right before the skip. And then we're just going to overwrite, and you guys get a quick kind of update instantly as to how it changed. There. So you can see definitely filled in, I think, rather nicely in that little section. It's definitely small, but, you know, nothing in our town's super big. And I think to scale with everything else is super important to do. So our workers will go around, quickly drop off some items, just to make it look just that much better. And we'll go ahead and wall off this little area completely. So boom, 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 boom. And in doing so, I'll be able to basically tell where to attach kind of the kiln and home for the potter. Oh yeah, that's coming along nicely. We'll also even drop off some braziers and things. For lighting and stuff. Okay. We still have to do the final ladder trick as well. But I think that'll be stuff in between episodes. I think this is actually all we have time for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll just build the potter's little house in between episodes, as I'm sure you guys are a little tired of working in the production area. I do want to get started on the tavern next episode. So I'll go ahead and kind of make this area look really pretty in between. And then when we get back, quickly overview it. And then we'll get started next time on some cool new buildings. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you all enjoyed today's video, feel free to subscribe for more creative goodness such as this. Go ahead and leave a comment down below on what you guys think of what we accomplished today. And leave a like so I know you guys are liking this series as always. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out my other videos. So until then, I'll see you guys next time and some more Stonehearth.